They thought she was the perfect target, quiet, new, and alone. The cafeteria roared with noise trays clattering and voices bouncing off the walls. Sam Walker sat near the edge of the crowd, her eyes on the floor, her lunch untouched. Bryce Carter walked over, a bowl of hot soup in his hand and a smirk on his face. Without hesitation, he tipped the bowl over her head. A moment of silence, then laughter. Chairs scraped. Phones came out. Sam didn't move. Soup soaked through her hoodie, dripping onto the floor. Her fists stayed closed but calm, her breathing steady. 3 long seconds passed. Then she looked up, not with anger, with control. No one said a word, but everyone felt it. Something had shifted, and Bryce had no idea what he'd just started. 2 years ago, her name was in the paper. A photo showed her on the podium, gold medal around her neck, fists taped, eyes focused. Underneath the headline read, 15-year-old takes national MMA title. The article spoke of discipline, drive, and promise. It ended with future champion to watch. But after that, nothing. No follow-up, no interviews, just silence. Now, Sam sat in the passenger seat of an old sedan. Her mother drove with one hand on the wheel, the other clutching a worn road map. The car was filled with moving boxes and unspoken tension. Outside, the welcome sign read Maplewood, a community that cares. Sam looked away from it. Her fingers traced the zipper of her gym bag where the medal still hid at the bottom. She hadn't opened it since. The motel room was dim lit by a single desk lamp. Sam stood at the foot of the bed holding a small wooden box in her hands. She opened it slowly. Inside lay the medal, still polished, still heavy. Behind her, her mother spoke without turning around. New place, new start. That means no fights, no headlines. Just finish high school. Okay, Sam didn't answer right away. She looked down at the medal, then back at the box. Her fingers hovered, then closed it with a soft click. She placed the box in the drawer beneath layers of folded shirts. I'm serious, Sam, her mother added, voice tired. We can't afford another move. Sam nodded once, but her eyes stayed on the drawer as if it still called to her. The hallways of Ridgeview buzzed with movement, lockers slammed, sneakers squeaked, conversations overlapped. Sam walked through it all, head down, backpack slung, low hoodie pulled tight. She scanned for an empty seat in the back of her homeroom. A few students glanced up. Most didn't bother. She chose a corner desk near the window. No one sat near her. That was fine. From across the room, Bryce leaned back in his chair chewing gum. His eyes followed her for a second too long. He nudged the guy next to him, nodded in her direction. They smirked. Sam opened her notebook, blank page, staring back. She tapped her pen twice, then stopped. Someone bumped her chair on the way past. She didn't turn. She just tightened her grip on the pen. A textbook slipped from Sam's locker and hit the floor with a dull thud. She knelt to grab it, but another hand beat her there. Algebra 2. The girl said, reading the cover, "You poor soul." Sam looked up. The voice belonged to a girl with curly hair, glasses, and a denim jacket covered in pins. She smiled without waiting for one back. "I'm Lana," she added, handing over the book. Sam hesitated, then took it. Sam. "Well, Sam," Lana said, glancing around. "Let me guess you're new quiet and trying not to draw attention. Bad news that makes you twice as interesting here." Sam let out a breath she hadn't noticed she was holding, and for the first time that day her lips turned upward just a little. There was a folded note on Sam's desk when she walked into science class. No name, no handwriting she recognized. She opened it slowly. Wrong seat. Tomorrow, bring lunch money. She didn't react, just folded it again, tucked it into her pocket, and sat down. After class, she headed to her locker. As she opened it, Bryce leaned against the one next to hers. He didn't say a word, just stared. Then he raised his fist and let it drop loud against the metal door above her head. The sound echoed. Sam didn't flinch. Bryce grinned. Good reflexes. She kept her eyes on her locker, not him. Her fingers curled tight around the edge of the door. He walked off laughing. Sam stayed still, breathing slow, measured. The lunch line moved slowly. Sam stood with the tray in hand, eyes down, counting bills. Behind her, Bryce and two friends hovered close. "Hope you didn't forget our fries," one said. Sam said nothing. She paid for 3 meals and carried them to the table Bryce pointed at. He didn't thank her. He just grabbed a burger and started eating. Lana watched from 2 tables away, frowning. She stood and walked over. "Seriously, you're making her buy your food now?" Bryce shrugged. "She likes helping." Lana stepped closer. "Leave her alone." Bryce's friend stood up fast and gave Lana a shove to the shoulder, not hard, but enough to make her stumble back. Sam's eyes locked on Lana, then dropped back to the tray. Her jaw tightened. After lunch, Sam found an empty bench near the track field. She sat alone, tray empty, hands resting on her knees. Lana hadn't said anything else. She'd gone back to her seat, face red, eyes down. Sam replayed the moment in her head, the shove, the look on Lana's face, the way her own legs refused to move. She could have stopped it. She knew how, but she didn't. That night, her mom sat at the kitchen table reading something on her laptop. "You had a locker incident today?" she asked, not looking up. Sam paused at the sink. "It's nothing." Her mom sighed. "I told you one wrong move and this school won't give you a second chance." Sam dried her hands and said nothing. She just stared out the window. The next morning, Sam opened her locker and froze. Her shoes were gone. In their place sat a soggy paper towel and a faint chemical smell. Lana appeared beside her, eyes narrowing. They dumped them in the janitor's sink. Someone saw. Sam said nothing. She reached inside, pulled out her soaked gym shirt, and dropped it into her backpack. Across the hallway, laughter echoed. Sam turned and saw Bryce glance over his shoulder, then mime a kick in the air. His friends laughed harder. On the locker door, someone had written in permanent marker, "MMA equals made mostly afraid." Sam stared at it, then closed the locker slowly. She didn't clean it off, she just walked away. Her fists stayed unclenched, but her pace quickened. Lana caught up with Sam by the vending machines after school. "You can't keep letting this happen," she said, voice low but firm. "You're not invisible, Sam. They're not going to stop." Sam pressed the button for water, eyes fixed on the numbers. "I've seen how you move," Lana continued. "You've got something. Why are you hiding it?" The bottle dropped. Sam picked it up slowly. "I made a promise," she said flatly. "It's not worth it." "Is it worth watching them hurt everyone else?" Lana asked. "Because next time it won't be me. It'll be someone who can't take it." Sam looked up, eyes sharp for a second, then faded again. She turned and walked away without answering. But her grip on the bottle was tight. The cafeteria was louder than usual. Bryce strutted in with his tray, eyes already locked on Sam. She sat at the same table as always, near the corner, near no one. He didn't speak. He just picked up a bowl of soup and stood behind her. It spilled fast, soaking her hood, shoulders, and back. The room fell silent for half a second. Then laughter erupted. Bryce stepped back, arms open like he'd won something. Sam didn't move. She set down her fork, wiped her hands on her jeans, and stood slowly. Every eye followed her as she walked toward the cafeteria doors, soup-dripping face unreadable. Lana started to follow, but stopped. Sam wasn't heading to the office. She was heading outside, and her eyes didn't look down. The parking lot was nearly empty, wind pushing scattered leaves across the pavement. Sam walked with steady steps, her hoodie still wet from soup. Behind her fast footsteps. Bryce's voice followed. "Hey. You think you're tough walking away like that?" She didn't turn. He grabbed her shoulder. That's when she moved. In 2 seconds, Bryce was on the ground, one arm pinned behind his back, her knee pressed lightly against his ribs. She didn't shout. She didn't even breathe hard. She leaned in close. "This is me still holding back. Don't touch me again." Then she stood, stepped back, and let him go. Bryce stayed down, stunned. Sam looked around. No one else had seen it. No phones, no crowd. Just her, the silence, and her control. By lunch the next day, the story had changed hands a dozen times. "Bryce got jumped," someone said. No, it was just one person, Sam Walker. She took him down in 5 seconds. Did she break his arm? Sam walked through the hallway. Eyes forward, voices trailing behind her like smoke. Students stepped aside, not out of fear but curiosity. In homeroom, the intercom crackled. "Samantha Walker to the main office, please." She stood up without a word. Lana glanced at her eyebrows tight. Sam gave no reaction. She moved slowly, calmly, as if she already knew this was coming. At the office door, she paused. Her reflection in the glass stared back, hood down, face neutral. Then she stepped inside. The door clicked shut behind her. In the crowded hallway, a smaller girl stood frozen as a group of boys pushed her books to the floor. Sam spotted them from across the corridor. She walked over her steps, deliberate but calm. Without raising her voice or making a scene, Sam stepped between the girl and the bullies. One boy reached out to shove her. Sam caught his wrist gently but firmly. "Back off," she said softly. The boys hesitated, then stepped away, grumbling. The girl looked up, eyes wide. Sam smiled briefly and nodded. The hallway's noise returned, but the moment lingered quiet, powerful. Sam's presence spoke louder than any shout. She didn't have to fight to make a difference. One afternoon, near the bleachers, Lana and her friends gathered, laughing softly. Suddenly, Travis and his group from the neighboring school appeared. They shoved Lana's friends, jeering and blocking their path. Lana stood firm but looked uneasy. Sam stepped forward, her gaze steady. "Leave them alone," she said. Travis scoffed and pushed Sam hard. A brief scuffle followed, quickly broken up by teachers nearby, but Travis wasn't finished. Later, he sent messages accusing Sam of attacking him without cause. The school buzzed with whispers. Sam's quiet reputation shifted. Now the fight was no longer just Bryce, it was bigger, and the stakes had just grown higher. The school's conference room was cold and sterile. Sam sat alone at the long table, her hands folded in her lap. Across from her, the principal, a counselor, and two teachers stared with serious expressions. The principal cleared his throat. "We've received complaints regarding your behavior, Samantha." Sam stayed silent. Outside, students whispered in the halls, rumors swirling like wildfire. "Is she dangerous? Did she start a fight?" Lana stood by the door, watching anxiously. Sam's chest tightened. She knew this wasn't just about her anymore. The next move could change everything, but she wasn't ready to give up. The door closed slowly behind her, and the silence deepened. That evening, the house felt heavy. Sam sat on her bed, staring at the wall, her hands trembling slightly. Her mother paced nearby, voice sharp. "You need to control this before it controls you." Sam didn't respond. The weight of everything school rumors, the investigation weighed on her chest. Later, her phone buzzed. A message from Lana. "You're not alone." Sam looked at it, a small flicker of relief breaking through. She typed back slowly. Sometimes just knowing someone cared was enough to hold on, and maybe just maybe to keep fighting. Lana moved quickly. She talked to students who witnessed the fights and collected videos from hallway cameras. Word spread quietly among teachers who believed Sam was being unfairly targeted. Unexpectedly, Bryce approached Lana one afternoon, his expression serious. "I owe her," he said simply. "She didn't break me like I thought she would." Together, Lana and Bryce pieced together the truth. With every new witness and clip, the case against Sam grew weaker. Lana's hope rose. For the first time, it felt like they could win. And Sam wasn't alone anymore. Bryce stood in the crowded hallway, eyes fixed on Sam as she passed by. He cleared his throat and called out loud enough for others to hear. "I was wrong. I treated her like she was nothing." The crowd quieted. He took a deep breath. Sam didn't deserve any of it. "I'm sorry." Some students whispered in surprise. Sam looked at him, guarded but listening. Bryce nodded toward Lana. "I want to help fix this." It wasn't just words, it was a start. A change was happening, and Ridgeview was watching. In her room, Sam pulled out an old hoodie, the one she wore during her last fight. She ran her fingers over the worn fabric, memories stirring. Taking a deep breath, she slipped it on. Her reflection in the mirror showed a determined girl ready for whatever came next. Outside, distant sounds of the school buzzed faintly. She packed a small bag, steady hands folding the metal she kept hidden. This wasn't just about her anymore. It was about standing up for herself and everyone watching. With one last look in the mirror, Sam stepped toward the door. Her heart beat steady, her mind clear. She was ready. The room was packed with students, teachers, and staff. Sam sat at one side of the long table, face calm but alert. Across from her, Travis leaned forward, voice sharp. "She attacked me without provocation," he said, eyes accusing. Murmurs rippled through the crowd. The principal called for silence. Sam's gaze met Lana's, briefly drawing strength. She opened her mouth to speak, but paused, waiting for the right moment. The weight of everyone's eyes pressed down. This was the moment everything could change. The hearing had begun. The screen flickered to life, displaying a blurry photo. In it, Sam's fist appeared raised near Travis's face, an image taken out of context. Gasps filled the room. Lana clenched her fists, eyes fixed on the screen. Sam's heart pounded, but her face stayed still. The principal frowned, glancing between the photo and Sam. Whispers grew louder. The accusation seemed more real now. Sam swallowed hard. The stakes had just risen. She knew this wasn't the full story, and she was ready to prove it. A quiet murmur spread through the room as a girl stood up. "I was there," she said, voice steady but nervous. Sam didn't throw a punch. She was protecting a friend from Travis. All eyes turned to her. Lana gave a small nod of encouragement. The principal raised an eyebrow, signaling her to continue. She stopped Travis from hurting someone else. "That photo doesn't show the whole truth." The room grew quieter. Sam's shoulders relaxed slightly. For the first time, she felt the tide beginning to turn. The truth was coming out. Lana reached into her bag and pulled out a phone. She tapped the screen, projecting a video onto the wall. The grainy footage showed Travis grabbing a girl aggressively. Sam stepped in calmly, holding his arm and stopping him. No punches, no aggression from Sam, only defense. The room fell silent. Teachers exchanged glances. The principal leaned forward, eyes fixed on the screen. Sam watched her breath steady. The truth was undeniable. The weight of doubt lifted. For the first time, justice felt within reach. Sam rose slowly, her voice steady and clear. "I've learned strength isn't just about fighting." She glanced around the room, meeting eyes. "It's about standing up when it matters, protecting others, choosing control over anger." Her words hung in the air, sincere and powerful. The principal nodded, a small smile breaking through. "Thank you, Sam." A quiet murmur of approval spread. Sam felt a calm settle inside her. This was more than a victory, it was a beginning, and she was ready for what came next. The principal's voice filled the room. After reviewing all evidence, the committee finds Samantha Walker not responsible for any wrongdoing. Applause rippled softly through the crowd. Sam exhaled deeply, shoulders relaxing for the first time in weeks. From the back, Bryce watched silently, eyes thoughtful and humbled. Travis stood abruptly and left without a word. Sam glanced toward Bryce, a flicker of understanding passing between them. Outside, the sunlight poured through the windows, casting warm light across her face. Relief settled in a heavy burden lifted. The battle was over, but the journey was just beginning. The school gym buzzed with activity. Banners reading "Defend with Dignity" hung from the walls. Sam stood at the front, demonstrating basic self-defense moves. Lana assisted nearby, encouraging nervous students. A group of girls practiced blocking and stance faces, focused and determined. Sam's voice was steady, guiding them not just in technique but in confidence. Parents and teachers watched, nodding approvingly. What started as a struggle had grown into a movement. The energy in the room was different now, hopeful, empowered. Sam looked around, a quiet smile touching her lips. This was more than self-defense. It was a chance to change the culture. Hallways, once filled with whispers, now buzzed with friendly greetings. Students passed each other with nods and smiles instead of stares and sneers. Small groups gathered near lockers, sharing stories and laughter. Girls who once kept their heads down now walked tall shoulders squared. Bryce no longer lingered near Sam's locker. Instead, he gave a respectful nod when they crossed paths. Teachers noticed fewer incidents, reporting a calmer, more supportive environment. A younger student approached Sam after class. "Can I join the club?" she asked shyly. Sam smiled warmly. Of course. Change was subtle but real, one step at a time. Ridgeview High was becoming a different place. During a school assembly, Bryce stepped onto the stage, eyes scanning the crowd. He cleared his throat, voice steady but sincere. "I want to apologize to Sam and to everyone I've hurt." The room quieted, students exchanging surprised looks. "I was scared and acted like a bully to cover it up." He paused, then nodded toward Sam. "Thank you for showing me what real strength means." Sam met his gaze, guarded but accepting. The moment wasn't about forgiveness alone, it was about growth. The hall filled with quiet applause, signaling a new beginning. Bryce's apology marked a turning point not just for him, but for the whole school. Sam sat alone on the bleachers after practice, the sunset casting a warm glow. She opened a worn journal, fingers tracing the words she'd written over months. "True strength isn't hiding who you are," she whispered. She smiled softly, the weight of fear finally lifting. Around her, students trained nearby, laughing, learning, growing. Sam stood and walked toward them, ready to lead. Her voice steady as she called out instructions, confident and calm. The journey hadn't been easy, but now she knew strength was in courage, honesty, and connection. And this was only the beginning. Fade out.